What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. How are you? I feel like I never asked that. You doing okay? How you feeling? Today I want to talk about my thoughts on owning a cinema camera for about 4 months now. I want to give a short review on some of my thoughts on it and why I think maybe you should buy it, or maybe help you in the decision making to buying it. So let's get to that. So the camera that we're talking today is, of course, the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K. I believe that's the name of this camera, the full name. This camera is a fantastic camera. It's built like a tank. The first thing I want to talk about is, why did I buy this camera? After a lot of research and looking into different cameras, I felt that this camera fit all the needs that I needed, all the needs that I wanted to fulfill when it came to upgrading in quality, image, and workflow, honestly. So I felt that this camera was the way to go for me. This could change, and maybe after watching this video, it may sway you in a different direction, and that's okay. There's literally a million cameras out there, but the reason why I wanted to upgrade was because I wanted my work to have a higher caliber level of quality. And not that this camera that you guys are seeing me on right now doesn't have a high quality image. It doesn't give me a lot of room to work with. And being that this camera shoots 6K raw, it gives me everything that I need. Anything that I film on this will be a lot easier, and it can handle it a lot better than something like this, which is the EOS R, if you didn't know that. The type of work that I do that would require a camera like this is a short documentary series that I'm working on right now. This camera, that's the reason why I got it, was so that way when I produce these things, they are at the best quality that they could possibly be. If you're just looking for something that's going to give you great image quality and great color, this camera is the way to go. I don't want to go too hard onto the specs here, but obviously this camera does shoot 6K up to, I believe it's 50 frames a second. That's fantastic. So that means you still get some sort of slow-mo action in 6K, but it's all 6K raw, which means that anything in post you can really change. You can change your ISO, your white balance, high dynamic range, which means that you can push and pull the colors just a little bit more than you could on something like this mirrorless camera that I'm using right now. What I mainly have been shooting in is actually 4K DCI RAW, which is a new thing that came out in the update, which was in a video I had made in the past that I talk about. And this update allowed us to start shooting in 4K RAW, which we never had that capability before. I know, the 4K is cropped. I know. However, if you pair it with the Sigma 18-35 lens, the Sigma 18-35 lens basically makes this camera a little closer to full frame. Once you go back to the 4K crop mode, it's just a Super 35 sensor again. So in all honesty, you're not getting that big of a crop if you're using the right lens. Now, obviously, if you're going to use full frame lenses, which I highly recommend because sometimes they're just a little bit better and sharper. If you're going to use these full frame lenses or cine lenses, there's nothing wrong with that. Keep in mind there is a crop, and it's going to affect your distance that you want to be from your subjects. But the thing is that this isn't a vlogging camera. You're not going to have a hot shoe mic on the top of this thing unless you're really going run and gun, and if you are, you're going to have a high quality mic then, if that's the case. If you're just doing a dock setup, an interview setup, or you're having it on some sticks, you're probably going to have some audio equipment that's recording sound separately. The crop only matters if you're in a vlogging setup and you can't use your wide angle lenses to get you all in the frame. That's my TED Talk. So one of the last things that I want to talk about is obviously the price. The price of this camera is unbeatable for what you're getting out of it. You get a myriad of resolution options, frame rates. This can shoot all the way up to 120 frames in 4K, mind you. For the price of $1,900, that's not bad at all. In fact, the camera that you see right here that I'm using is a $1,900 Canon camera, and it's fantastic. They're completely different cameras, and I use them for completely different reasons. This is more of a hybrid camera. I can film on it, but I can mainly shoot photos on it, and I love the photos that I get out of that, which is also another thing that I do. If you're just a filmmaker, then maybe this is the camera for you, because this is totally geared towards filmmaking. And if you guys want to see my build out, let me know in the comments below, so that way I can show you what this really looks like when I'm out there on set. My final thoughts. Should you or should you not buy this camera? I think for someone who's starting out in filmmaking, this is the perfect camera. It has everything that professional cameras can kind of offer at the price point that is so friendly and geared towards those who are on the lower budget side. And the image quality is amazing. It is so good. Every time I see it, I'm just blown away. I am blown away by what I see come out of this camera. I know that every time I film something on this camera, it's special. And that's what matters most to me, is that when I see the image out of this, I feel something. And if I'm feeling something, I know that my audience is going to be feeling something similar. And that's what I want. And I feel like as filmmakers, we often lose touch with that. We get caught up in gear, we get caught up in specs, and sometimes we forget it's not about that. We're trying to tell stories. We're trying to deliver emotions and feelings, and it's more so for the audience. It's not about whether or not this camera can shoot 8K or can shoot 4K 120. It's not about that. It's about the message, it's about the story. And I hope that the information that I've given you about this camera helps you out in any way, but ultimately keep in mind that a camera shouldn't stop you from telling your story or anyone else's story. Alright guys, I will catch you in the next one. I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more. Like I said, I've got some documentary content that should be coming out soon, and I hope that you really stick around for that. Peace.